So there's a non-zero possibility that I forgot to hit record, and we are in the middle of the video. That's okay. But generally speaking, this is my D1 crash out, and I have everything to talk about education. Generally speaking, your employer will want you to actually bond and connect with the kids, and there's nothing objectively wrong with that. However, for me, in my experience, when you actually give the kids a space to connect and talk to you, they will, and it's great, but they lack that sense of authority over you because now you're like their friend. You need to have a balance of being a friend and a teacher, and you can't lean too far in the friend way, but you can lean too far in the teacher way. For math in particular, you can be very strict and very mean, and yes, the math not be maybe fun, but it's okay because they'll need to learn it anyway, and they're going to get at some point in the journey where they're going to be learning something, and they'll be like, "Oh, I really don't want to learn this, but I have to," and that's just gen eds in college. A lot of people, a lot of very ambitious people, want to do something with their lives, and they're not going to love every single part of the journey. They're not going to maybe love that one sociology class, or they're not going to love that one professor that really messed up their major course and now they're questioning if they're in the right major. Like, that's a part of life. And that doesn't mean bully the children, even if it's very tempting. Do not quote me on that. But it definitely means there needs to be that balance, because if you lean too far in the friend way, then your kids are now going to be actual children and want to talk to you, and they'll want relatability, and it may be fun, but it's going to be very hard to get them to focus. They lose respect for you. It's that implicit authority. You break that reality where you are a teacher and they are the student. You're giving them something in between, and that gives them freedom. What's generally a lot more advisable and a lot better in my opinion is you start a very mean teacher, and by mean I mean not very forgiving, right? You're stringent on your rules, you check them where necessary, and you lay down the law, and maybe, just maybe, you open up a little bit more as the course goes along, but you never open that door all the way. And if it doesn't make any sense, so be it, but there needs to be that sense of authority, and it's implicit. If you break down that wall, it's hard to get it back. And there's classes where like you really, it doesn't matter. Like if it's art maybe, and you want the kids to be free and to talk to you, and you don't need the room to be focused, you just need to have them there for an hour, then by all means, open up the floodgates. But generally speaking, for me, I teach STEM courses, and I need the kids to be focused and productive within the hour, and most importantly, safe. I can't have children burning themselves. I can't have them hurting themselves somehow. I don't need them throwing straws or paper clips or pencils at each other. That's dangerous. Meanwhile, if you're very strict and then some kids still decide to be rebellious because they would rather do literally anything other than what you tell them to do, then at worst they're going to be poking holes in erasers or like talking in low volumes to their friends, but they feel that pressure that this is not a space for you to goof off, and that is so important. I ran a test recently. I was teaching a summer course, and you let the kids, I said that they can, freedom, that they don't have to learn, and that means they took that opportunity to not learn. They tell me in training that the kids don't have to learn. I can give them the learning materials, I can give them the resources, but if as long as the kids don't kill themselves, I've done my job as an instructor, because I'm not a teacher. I do not have my master's. I've not done all that credential stuff. I just work at summer camps and do tutoring, and it's different than being an actual teacher where you have curriculum and your kids do have to learn, which I think it is even more important in those situations that yes, you do level with your students and you navigate the balance, but you do not, and I mean you do not, throw away that wall, that you let down the barrier. And some people really love the teachers that do, and I understand, but it does not work for the entire classroom. And you could never let it work for the entire classroom. And if that seems like something that's so estranged, it's because I keep personally having to deal with employers that say, oh, just get along with the kids and get to know them and, make them happy, make them feel heard, make them feel seen. And now they won't listen to me because they want to do whatever they want to do and they know that I'm not going to do anything about it. You, legally, can't force the kids to do anything. You can call their parents for discipline, but you can't yell at them. You can't even raise your voices at the children anymore. The parents, they will murder you. But you can just tell them to do their work, and all that authority, all that assertion comes from this idea that you are the teacher. And if you break that illusion, it's gone forever. And it's hard to work with kids because you didn't raise them. You don't have their principles. You don't go home at night and feed them. They have no obligation to you. They do not care. They don't want to, they probably don't even want to be there. Their parents are forcing them to be there. And it's that balance that makes it so difficult, that you're just working around variables that you do not know. And if you're working with, the general industry standard is like 15 kids per one instructor. If you're working with anything more than that, I do classrooms of 25. It's all over for you if you let that slip. So having that balance is important. Yes, being able to maintain it in practice is hard. It's always way, way easier to be that strict teacher that no child likes and they get work done. And you might want to be an educator or a tutor or something, and you might want to be nice and forgiving and give people space, but you will be corrupting your position of power as a leader in doing so. You can't have it both ways because the people are not going to do what they don't want to do. What I found out in college is that people know better, so much better, and that doesn't mean that they're going to do better. So then it comes to that act of forcing people, that forced nature of you have to do this because society is pressuring you, other people are already doing it better, and because the teacher is telling you who actually is a position of authority. That is my teaching crash out. Action items: be an authority. Do not let the children actually connect with you, which is a very sad statement to say. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish that I actually have had classes where, you can level with the kids and it'll be nice and it's fun to talk to them and they'll refocus themselves and it's fine. A lot of kids want that independence. Everyone wants independence. No one likes being told what to do. Where they're like, okay, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to focus myself and I get work done better when I do it on my own. And I used to believe that. And I let kids just do whatever they wanted and let them focus themselves back. And guess what? They do whatever they want for an hour. And it's not math or it's not engineering. And it's not the things that you actually need them to do. Or it's just generally unproductive. And that's fine for the environments that I work in, where it doesn't matter if the kids actually do anything. It just matters that they're like safe for an hour. Like, that's fine. But generally speaking, the parents will not be happy that they spent money for their kid to be educated and their kid didn't get educated. And you're like, why didn't the kid get educated? I'm like, I can't force your kid to learn. Your kid didn't want to learn that day. I told them that they should be doing this, and they didn't listen. And the parent will still blame you. So, business dynamics. That's just how it is. They do not have to understand where you're coming from. They pay for a service and they expect to get that service. That's, America. Love America. So yeah, if you want kids to do things and listen to you, I cannot put enough emphasis and strain on not giving them the freedom to be heard, on not giving them the freedom to talk and connect with you as you're a real person. They need to see you as an authority figure. And that will translate not as well as I wish it would into your later life of your corporate. People are more relatable. You get jobs from more informal relationships. There is a bias for men over women for that, which is unfortunate, but as a general statement, you will be rewarded by respecting your position as authority. It's vocabulary. When you are in conversation with people and you say circle back in corporate instead of just being, no one will say, I'll get back to you on that. It's that informality. It's breaking that illusion, which causes the difference, the change. in how people see you and possibly how people respect you. And challenging authority generally means that you need to be right as a leader. If you are correct, if people cannot point out flaws in the way that you do things and the person that you are, then it means the world. But if you make a mistake, it will haunt you. And frankly, that is the terror of education. It's that you have to be perfect. Mistakes always cost something. That's about it for today, and I'll talk to you all later. Have a nice night.